Welcome back to Games with Dad. I'm your host, Dad, and I'm going to be honest with you. I got a little crazy with capturing footage for Doom last month. I don't know why I thought I needed close to 20 hours of Doom footage. Who do I think I am, Tim Rogers? So this month, I'm going to take a step back and relax with some good old-fashioned Tetris. Because who doesn't love Tetris? A timeless classic, Tetris is the brainchild of Alexei Pajitnov, who created the game during his spare time at the Moscow Academy of Sciences in the mid-1980s. The premise is simple. Shapes made up of 4 blocks apiece, named tetraminos, slowly fall down the screen. The player is tasked with rotating and guiding the blocks so that they form a full horizontal line. The more lines you make, the faster the blocks drop, and if the blocks reach the top, that's game over. Like many others, the first time I saw Tetris was on a Nintendo console. Nintendo saw how quick the game spread in the East, bought the rights up and gussied up a bit, and more importantly, packed it in with every single Game Boy. My cousins Melissa and Jenny had a copy on the NES, and they played it while I watched when I was still quite young, maybe 3 or 4 years old. I still remember the colors, the shapes, and the music, and how entrancing it was. A few years later, I'd play it myself, and I was terrible at it. But that didn't stop me from trying because, as it turns out, there are few games as addictive as Tetris. By the time I was 10, I was friends with multiple people that had Tetris on Game Boy. Tetris wasn't a game I owned, but was still one I tried to play whenever I possibly could. And I was good at it too. My friend Matt and I would take turns playing games of Tetris while shooting hoops. I got very good at Tetris. Matt was much better at basketball. It was easy to get practice when Tetris is on almost everything. I've played Tetris on the NES, Windows 3.1, the Game Boy, to the Xbox 360, and even the recently released Genesis port. That's right, much like Doom, if a console exists, people will probably port Tetris to it. But what's kept me playing all those years was the clever design of Tetris. You see, the better you get at Tetris and the more lines you clear, the faster and more difficult the game will get. Tetris is not a game that was designed to be beaten. Intentional or not, it is a testament to the brutal nihilism of Soviet-era Russia. Father Time is undefeated, and in the end, comrade, we are all equals in failure. Although some players are definitely more equal than others, there are legitimate chess-level grandmasters of Tetris. It is a game that encourages you to keep trying over and over again, and eventually the player reaches this zen-like state, not unlike how I feel when playing games like Doom Eternal. The best of the best have spent thousands upon thousands of hours playing the hardest versions of Tetris scientists can create. Meanwhile, my hands turn into spaghetti around level 8 or 9. For that reason, my favorite version of Tetris is not the standard see how far you can get, but instead the versions that give you a set amount of blocks and a set amount of lines to clear. And I found that this so-called Type B Tetris is good practice for when things get hairy and you make mistakes. Even more fun is a mode that is sorely lacking from Nintendo's official NES Tetris, Multiplayer. Clear lines to send them to your opponent. It's a combination so frantic and fun that it's become the standard for puzzle game multiplayer. So good in fact that Nintendo thought, why stop at just 2 players when you can have 99? Tetris 99 was one of the first games I ever played with my daughter. The colors, the music, all the noises and flashing pieces going back and forth between playfields, I'm sure it was even more stimulating than when I first sat down and watched someone else play Tetris all those years ago. So that was this month's video. Yeah, I told you today was going to be a quick one. I've got a few very busy months of work ahead of me, so don't expect full episodes again for a few months. Don't worry, I still have plenty of content planned, they just won't be as long as what I normally put out. So thank you so much for watching. This has been Tetris, I've been your host Dad, and I'll see you next time with more Games with Dad.